than Scott Bloomquist, I don't think there's one driver that's more polarizing than Bobby Pierce. The Pierce name screams Eldora. There is nothing better at the Big E when you have half the crowd cheering for you or half the crowd booing for you during driver introductions. And that is exactly what happens to Bobby on the Eldora stage. You can bet your ass Pierce will be on the cushion for 100 laps while gunning for his first ever dream victory. If Pierce can get it done this week, we can all expect some sort of fireworks in Victory Lane.
Y'all never raced a late model before.
Hey, Bob, Pierce on the bottom, down the straightaway. Pierce takes the lead on the one-run lap. Bobby Pierce the final lap. Down the back straightaway, here comes Davenport. They're side by side. Can Pierce do it? Can Pierce do it? Out of four, they're side by side at the line. Bobby Pierce does it. Are you serious?
In his first season with the World of Outlaws Case Construction Equipment late models, Bobby Pierce proved he was better than everyone, leading to his first series championship. It was a rough start to the season, though, at the Sunshine Nationals, but his second trip to Volusia kick-started his run toward the title as he passed Brandon Overton on the final lap to score his first win of the season. He added a second win close to home at Farmer City Raceway in June before going on a tear during the World of Outlaws Heartland Speedweek. During the six-race swing, the Oakwood, Illinois driver won 3 of them, grabbing the checkered flag at Off-Road Speedway, Mason City Motor Speedway, and again at I-94 EMR Speedway. He added 5 more wins in August, scoring a win at Boone, and adding 2 more at Cedar Lake and Davenport, including his first USA Nationals win. After 4 more wins at Deer Creek, Atomic, Brownstown, and Fairbury, he entered the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway with 14 series victories and a championship, the first national title for the smooth operator. Bobby Pierce also joins Billy Moyer, Scott Bloomquist, Mike Marlar, and Brandon Shepard as drivers who won the title in their first season on tour. It's an accomplishment his family will never forget as they celebrate Bobby Pierce, the 2023 World of Outlaws late model champion.
DJ Smallwood with Slingin Dirt Media. I'm in the shop here in Oakwood, Illinois with the smooth operator, man. I can't tell you what an honor this is. Bobby, this is huge, man. I appreciate you carving me out some time here. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, let's do it. Looks like we brought the whole studio, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, this is how we roll, man. You gotta have your stuff, man.
Yeah.
The cars look great. That's awesome. I appreciate you lending us a few of those to throw on the table here.
I figured we'd be like some little kids playing with some die-cast cars.
We're gonna have them going making laps here in just a little bit. So I knew you've grown up around racing all your life. So at what age? Where did you start? I mean, did you do some go-karts, some quarter midgets to start out with?
Yeah. So I was at the racetrack from probably a couple days old, I'm guessing. And, of course, since my dad raced, and he eventually got me into quarter midgets, which is like a, it's like a go-kart. So that's kind of what I tell people most times. I grew up racing basically go-karts. Yeah. And but when he first got me one, I was 4 years old, and he didn't know anything about it, and it had no restrictor in it. So that was for, like, the big kids. Uh-huh. And they pushed me off around Danville, Illinois racetrack out here at Vermilion County, and it's a big car track. And afterwards, I was scared so much, and I didn't want to mess with it again. It kind of scared me until I was like 7 or 8, and because my sister had one too. And as I got a little older, I think my mom and sister were gone, and my dad was like, "Hey, your sister's quarter midget's out there in the garage. Let's go see if you fit in it." And I fit in it, and then he pushed me off in the yard, and I made some laps around the yard, and I liked it again. And after that, I went to the track, and the rest is history.
So it was a little different experience the second time.
Yeah. I liked it more the second time. And I think the first time, too, I said, like, the throttle stuck. I was, like, 4 years old, and I ran it into my dad's truck out here. I said the throttle stuck. I probably just didn't know how to let off the gas.
You didn't know how to let off?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's a good thing, not letting off, because you seem pretty good mashing the gas.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to have a heavy right foot sometimes.
Dude,
Get
you
the job
do.
done.
There's a lot of places and I know we've probably referenced you on several other episodes. You know, we talk about you and Josh Rice and just some of the other guys that just get up there and bang the boards and just. The comment has been that, you know, I feel like in years past, guys could have started out the race and been a little more easy on your equipment or saving some stuff toward the end. And it's like, man, with the kids and guys racing nowadays, it's like, no, you're on the wood from the time they drop the green flag to the checker. There's no waiting. It's you go now.
Yeah, you go. And, I mean, these cars nowadays are kind of like that, I feel. You know, you got to drive them pretty hard most of the time. There's only really a few occasions where if you can't drive the car hard, I feel like the racetrack is typically not going to be a very fun race to watch. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. It's just how these cars are nowadays. If you're waiting on the car, if you're off the gas for too long, the guy that can be on the gas quicker than you is probably going to beat you. So.
Yeah. It's exactly that. If you're not on the gas, somebody else is.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to win a race.
Yeah.
What was I know you did some kid mods for a little bit. What were those like?
Yeah, I did. So after quarter midgets, I went into kid mods, which was a class that my dad built for kids, basically ages from, I think at first we were trying to look for like 11, 12 to 18-year-olds. And so basically it was a full-size modified with basically like banger bars built around the outside of the body. And so it was a full-size modified, but with a 4-cylinder engine, and it had a like stock rear end. It didn't have the quick change, so some cheaper parts, but at the end of the day, you could still turn it into a full-blown modified once you're ready to move up. And so my dad created that class, and I think at one time there was like, I think 14 of us at one race, and that was absolute carnage, man. A bunch of little kids, because like none of us were really that old. I think everyone was like 9 to 13. Yeah. And like Kyle Hammer, I think he was 9 years old, and he won a race in it. So, but yeah, that was fun, and I did that for I think a year, and I was 11. So then when I was 12, I moved up to a crate late model. Then when I was 13, I moved up to a super late model. And then when I was 14, I did straight super late model.
Straight supers.
Yep.
So you wasn't in the crate stuff very long at all.
No, yeah.
My version of a kid car, when I remember my first go-kart, I couldn't reach the pedals.
Yeah.
And this must have been my dad's fix for everything. My first bike was the same way. I couldn't reach the pedals.
Same way.
He taped blocks of wood, like 2x4s or 4x4 blocks of wood, just duct taped them to the pedal. Well, then I could reach it.
Yeah.
And then I was fine.
I've been there. Been there several times. Heck, I think I even drove like a NASCAR truck like that or something. Just hopped in it real quick. Or at least an asphalt late model. I've done, several times I've drove other people's cars. We've had to do things like that.
Let's throw some duct tape and some wood in it.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. New definition of being on the wood.
Yeah, definitely, right?
Obviously, you know, you're killing it in the super late model right now. I don't want to say outside of that, but I mean, you drove a lot of other stuff. Is there anything that stands out like, man, that was a lot of fun to drive? Anything other than the super? Because obviously you have a lot of fun in that. You're killing it there.
Well, modified, I like driving a modified from time to time. I think I've raced that probably a dozen times. Let's see, when I go to New Zealand, and I'm sure you might talk about that, that's a lot of fun going over there racing super saloons. Because at first when I was going over there, they were like a mixture of a sprint car and a late model. Now they're a little more similar to a late model, but still quite a bit different. And then, I've drove a couple different asphalt cars between crate late model, super late model, truck, NASCAR truck, and drove NASCAR truck on dirt. That was fun.
Yeah. You was pretty good at that one.
Yeah, I was decent. Yeah.
Fun?
Almost won. Yeah, it was fun. They're not as fun as a late model because the speeds were kind of low, but they were a handful to drive because they're not made for it.
Right.
And at the time, I don't think all the engineers in NASCAR and everything had a really good handle on it.
Right.
I feel like they got better as the years went on. And,
sure.
Now I don't even know what they're doing with that race, but that was fun. Like the first race, I remember I set quick time, so I got my first ever NASCAR pole, which is cool. Like I've never been one to like really like NASCAR was my goals, it really wasn't. Really just being a great dirt racer was kind of something I thought would be cool.
Yeah.
So I'm glad where I'm at. But when I did that, let's see, I ran second to Christopher Bell the first time, and we were throwing sliders for lead, but he beat me. And then the second time, Bell was in third, and me and Larson were throwing sliders for the win.
Right.
And Larson ended up winning. I ended up hitting the wall a little bit, and the tire got flat.
You hitting the wall.
Yeah, right. But we were throwing sliders for a lead, so we were going at it. And then the third year, I got spun out and ended up coming back to like 6th or something. But yeah, a couple times I did that. That was neat. It's always fun when you can drive different stuff, and it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone, which makes you better in the long run of when you go to other things.
When you get back in your stuff.
Yeah. I feel it anyways.
So how different is things, you mentioned over New Zealand, how different is that?
Yeah, that's.
So did they go the opposite direction?
No, they still go left.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of different things. It's like a parallel universe, you know. A lot of things are super similar, and then you just have some things that are completely weird. But it's great being able to go to places like that. That was my 4th time being there. And so basically what they race over there, because a lot of people assume when you say New Zealand, they think Australia.
Right.
And it's right next to it, but New Zealand's a little different in Australia. So in New Zealand, they race super saloons, which is kind of like a late model. They actually do have 4 bars now in them cars, but they got the big back tires. Some of them run fuel injection engines. They have different placements, like their engine has to be 6 inches forward, so that throws a bunch of stuff off, and it's a little heavier of an engine. Cause
your weight distribution is going to be
way off.
Yeah.
So some various things, and their body looks pretty different. I always say it looks like a Hot Wheels car.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, driving those is neat, and their race tracks are kind of like this table. They're super flat. I mean, completely flat. Some have banking for sure. I've never raced on. I've only raced 2 tracks, and both of them really flat and narrow. So it's kind of hard to make a pass. So if you're gonna make a pass, you know, you gotta be pretty good. You know, you gotta be a lot better than that guy to make the pass. But
so are they more like a bull ring, smaller track? Are they a little bigger?
Yeah.
You got room to move?
They're like kind of like average size in you know, the distance around, I'd say, but yeah, they're just narrow though.
Okay.
And most of them were built around like rugby fields.
Okay.
And in rugby stadiums. So like they would build the racetrack right around the rugby field, and so it doesn't give you much room to work with.
Yeah.
And like they get really mad if you go into the grass and mess up their rugby field.
I'm totally pitching Bowman Gray Stadium here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but because the other cars they race over there were pretty interesting too. What do they call them? Super stocks or something? And
I knew there's something.
they bash them up. You know?
One of them's got like a sedan name or a super
that's in
sedan.
Australia, super sedan,
okay,
which looks like a saloon.
See, there we go, mixing them two
but
up.
They sit on the other side of the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've got a friend, Ian Wright, and he's got a car and he built, and he says, "Hey, mate, I want to put your Slingin Dirt on my car." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man. That's awesome. I'm happy to have my stuff,
Sweet.
represented over there."
Yeah.
So he gets it done. I didn't think anything of it, and I'm like, "Man, this is a pretty cool looking car." And he's got a real big decals on there. I'm like, "Hey, that's pretty cool." I said, "That looks like something I would drive." And he said, "Well, come on." He says, "I got a place for you, and you can drive it." And I'm like, "Oh man, don't tell me that."
Yeah,
now
right.
I'm trying to figure out how I can afford to go to Australia.
Well, if you get the chance, I would definitely recommend it. I've only been to Australia to sightsee a little bit, never raced there. That's something I want to do sometime too. But if you get the chance, definitely.
Yeah, he's telling me this place that they race it's the go-to place over there, Perth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the west side, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. They have a burnout and drag strip, I guess, right next door to it, and then they have the dirt track over here, which again I'm picturing something like Paducah. How they got the drag strip on one side and then the dirt track over there. That's kind of what I'm picturing.
Heck, Paducah's a drag strip within itself.
It's a drag strip with ends, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, hey, you done pretty good there last year.
I love Paducah. Yeah, I love some tracks like that with the high speed and banking. And Paducah's one of those you can get up by the wall and just let her go.
Just rim ride it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
How did you like the, what was that place? Off-Road Center.
Off-road, yeah. Off-road
That was
nice.
I was
Yeah.
not as all what I was picturing, but when I got there, I'm like, well, the track's not bad.
What I like, my first thought when I looked at it, it's really wide. When
Uh-huh.
I went up to the corner and looked at the track, and whenever you see nice wide racetrack with some banking and it doesn't shelf, you're like, oh yeah, it's going to be a good track, and it
This is
was a
gonna be
pretty good
fun.
race. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm guessing at your level and what you're doing, when you go to a place like that, and probably especially like the first time you've been there, are you trying to picture like, hey, what can I resemble this as? What do I have
Yeah.
in my mental notes that I can compare this to? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, definitely. We do that all the time. Like, that's probably one of my first thoughts is I'll be like, man, what does this track remind me of?
Yeah.
And I start naming off racetracks to my dad or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, I see that. And because I mean, you always got to pick a gear, which a lot of times you get suggestions from other people.
Sure.
But pick a gearing and you know your setup for the car, what setup you're going to put on the right front and the right rear, and just various things. You know, the right front of these cars are probably one of the most important things, whether you're racing on a super flat track or a track that's banked like Tazewell. You know, it's a big difference. Or whether you're racing Eldora or you're racing Macon, or you know. But
There's a lot of differences there.
a lot of differences. So, but we had some success last year going to new places, and I like going to new places too. It's pretty fun to, you know, get out and just go to all the new places. Like I have a list in my phone. I forget what I'm at now, but I've wrote down every single different racetrack I've ever raced at.
Really?
Yeah.
So I've got like an old school it's from a classroom somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was a school I went to, and they just totally remodeling the school and doing different stuff. Remember like the old maps of the U.S. It's got all the states.
Yeah.
I've got one of those in my basement, in my garage, and I put a pin. Every racetrack I've been to gets a pin.
That's cool.
So I've got this map, and I'm working on it like everywhere I've been to. Obviously, last year I went to a lot of different new tracks, so I've still got some updating to do.
Right.
Yeah,
I used to do something similar to that on Google Earth.
Oh, okay.
On the computer. And yeah, I would drop pins on every single spot, and I would just find random dirt tracks and drop like a different colored pin there and be like, oh yeah,
I gotta
there
go
someday.
I gotta go there. Far as the different tracks you've been to, I kind of hate this question, but it's still a good question. Do you have a favorite?
So I've always said Peevely, Missouri is one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's unfortunate World of Outlaws doesn't go there anymore. The late models don't. That track always reminded me of like an Eldora, but you know, obviously a lot smaller, and it races really good when that track is right. You can get up on the wall, or you can get down.
Yeah.
It has a bottom wall too, so you get down there. It's just really nice and racy when it's right. There's a lot of them though, man. So many great racetracks, and some of them, you know, you go to and you don't really like, and then if you win, it's a little better. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
Right. See, now tell me if I'm right or wrong. I always kind of pictured Atomic like that.
I do like Atomic. Yeah.
Atomic is kind of like a smaller version. I always felt like it was a smaller version of the way you drive it. Reminds me of how you would drive Eldora, only smaller.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it does have a lot of similarities for sure. A lot of similarities.
Okay.
Yeah, just on a smaller scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And with like what they did to that racetrack, you know, with the wall and stuff, moving stuff around, that was nice.
They had to do some adjustments on that. I know they worked on it and did a lot of work, and then it's like, okay, that didn't. Maybe we got to rechange that or redo that a little bit. So.
But yeah, I like Atomic. Heck, I won the World of Outlaw race there last year and well, the first night was actually a chaotic night, but the second night we won.
Okay.
Yeah, so I like Atomic.
So now I want to talk a little bit about Bobby Pierce outside the car. So what's Bobby like outside the car?
Outside of the car, probably to ask my girlfriend that question. She knows me more than I do, but I mean, we're always here working most of the time. If I'm not here.
So you had date night last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we went to PBR.
Okay.
Professional bull riding in Indy, and that was my first time ever going to PBR. That was nice. We were talking about Supercross. I like to go watch that if I have some time.
Yeah. What about sports? Are you a sports guy?
Oh, I love watching football.
Okay.
Yeah. The NFL. When the NFL season's here, like this is a Sunday, so I I would have been like, "No, you can't come."
Yeah, we're all watching football, bro.
I would have been watching football. But yeah, I love football.
Do you have a favorite team?
The Bears and the Colts.
Bears and the Colts.
And the Bengals, I like them, and the Browns.
Sorry.
I like a lot of teams.
Yeah, I'm sorry about all that. I mean, I'm a Cincinnati, huge Bengals fan, and I'm like, oh my god.
But the Bears are probably my favorite team.
Okay.
I think my dad, for some reason, he's a Chiefs fan.
Chiefs. Oh
He likes Mahomes.
Jeez. You didn't have to tell me that, but it's all good. Yeah, we all good. We won't hate him too much.
Yeah, and he respects game. He's gonna be a Tom Brady someday.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Music. What's the playlist like?
I listen to everything, honestly, from rap to country to rock to screamo rock. Taylor Swift, even I listen to a little of that because Abby. Yeah, I had to learn to like it. I had to learn to like it, but no, I really listen to everything. So, my dad's old stuff, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Growing up in the race shop, he had like 70s on 7 on Sirius XM all the time. So I know every single word, every single song, and I like that too. So yeah, I listen to a little bit of everything. I don't really hunt. I don't fish. Probably because my dad never did it, so I never really learned much about it.
Yeah.
And really, racing keeps me busy.
Yeah.
But
it's
at nighttime, what I do to wind down is actually play a lot of video games. And
I've heard you're a late night gamer.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Yeah, I'm no streamer status, but I do like the game. Yeah, it's fun. It's just a nice getaway from, reality. Turn your brain off, play some games, and.
A mutual friend of ours has told us, like, you guys have spent some late night hours. Ruben?
Oh, yeah, we have. A lot of them, heck, there's a photographer, Tyler Rinkin, we play, some other race friends,
So you're not just racing on the games, you're doing other games.
Yeah, I play a lot of, like, Call of Duty is a big one.
Okay.
Let's see, Rocket League. I got banned from that the other day, but I'm back.
How do you get banned from a video game?
I won't get into that. But no, if you've just gotta, you can't. Yeah, you just gotta behave on there. But
is it language?
No, not really. But just
okay.
just other stuff.
Other stuff. Okay.
They don't like you cheating on there.
Oh, okay. What? A race car driver cheating that way?
Well, I can't do it in real life, so
Yeah.
And that's one thing we don't know how to.
Right.
That's what everyone always. No, for real. That's what everyone always says. Is like, anyone that's ever worked for me, they're like, people ask them questions like, "Come on, I know what it must have been like over there," and they're like, "Look, if they knew how to cheat, they'd even win more races."
That's funny. I do like hearing some of the stories on how guys have done things in the past and got by with it. It's like, that's funny. That's a good story.
Yeah, right.
But
Scott Bloomquist and his Lexane.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that on the way up here.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. That's really insane.
Only he would think about that.
That guy can think of some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have spoke with Scott about it. I would love to do an episode with him and see which spaceship we end on, because that would have to be a blast. I mean, that guy's got to have some stories.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. And my dad, I'm sure he can talk about Scott.
We may get into that. We may get into that. I feel like
they've been friends for a long time.
Okay, see, that was one of the things I was going to ask him. I feel like when I was younger, I don't know if there was, or if there appeared that there was this rival between the two, or were they just really good buddies and it just really worked out that way?
I think in racing, everyone's a little bit of a rival, even if you're friends.
Sure.
Because you're fierce competitors out there.
Fierce.
But,
yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, every night you're racing, you're going up against, if you're friends, you don't really have friends out there.
The friend stuff stays in the pits.
Yeah, right. It's just how it is. It's tough to really build any relationships like that, because you're competitors.
You're competitors. At the end of the day, you're competitors.
Yeah.
Right. You can be friends at dinner or drinking beer afterwards, but while we're on the track, hey, it's
pretty much.
Yeah, get it. Okay. What else? What else can you tell me that not everybody's going to know?
Man, I don't know. I guess I'm pretty basic.
Pretty vanilla here.
Yeah, I'm pretty vanilla. But obviously we're in the shop, and like I said, we do spend a lot of time in here. when you race 90-some races of the year,
Yeah.
like there's not really a lot of downtime to do
Sure.
things. And, like I'm working in here with the guys and my dad, and that's
So
one
how
thing.
many-
I'm
how
not a
many guys
helmet
do you have
bag
now?
driver. I got 2 guys and then my dad, so 3.
Okay.
And and then Lika when he comes. So at the racetrack, I'll have 4 guys
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back a little bit and talk about, there was a reveal you guys did at Eldora. Was it the Joker scheme?
Yep.
Tell me about that. Whose idea was this?
Oh yeah, the original Joker
Yeah.
when I won the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was whose idea was that? Was it my mom's or Uncle Will or something like that? I don't know, or maybe it was even somebody else. But yeah, that was like,
That seems like a long time
man,
ago.
that was a long time ago. Here's the diecast car right
There's
here.
the diecast card. There
But
you go.
yeah, that was a long time ago. So that was my first and only World 100 win, and I had to win that race because dressing up as a clown, it's like, man, I gotta win now.
Yeah, right.
Pressure's
I
on.
put myself out there.
Yeah.
I've got to.
So
back it up.
yeah, when we that was we did 3 Joker cars because it was such a big hit and everyone loved it.
Right.
And obviously, since we thought we won the world with it, we were gonna hopefully win the world with it again. And we never did. But yeah, let's see, that was 8 years ago now.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
God, it kind of almost seems like it was longer.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. I'm 27 now, so.
Okay. So here's my total confession on this. I remember that, and I don't remember if I seen the video of it or if I was actually there. And I remember the whole time seeing this, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, I'm not getting it. I'm like, whatever. I'm not a fan. Whatever. No big deal. Whatever. Do them.
Yeah.
And then I got to think about it more and more, and I'm like, I don't see it. It didn't get it. But then as time went on, I got to thinking more about it. I'm like, you know what? There's kids having fun.
Right.
There's no harm in it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's And then I became more and more. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's pretty
Just
cool.
got a big
Yeah,
obnoxious
he's
space
doing
on
his
the
thing.
nose of the car.
Yeah, it's like, hey, the kid's doing his
Yeah.
thing and rocking it. I can respect that.
Looking back at it now, I was like, man, that was pretty cringe to dress up as the Joker. But, I think that helped it be a big thing.
Sure.
Because when we like to do our, designs for, typically around Eldora's when we come out with, say, something for the world or even the dream, heck, I get wore out doing 3-4 different designs in a year. Because
that's crazy.
lately I've done one for the dome and I've done some for the dream and then typically one in September. So it's like that's a lot of different stuff. And
Sure.
sometimes I do one for Wawa Shootout.
Yeah.
My decal guy Slicker, he's like, come on, man. But no, he loves doing it too. But yeah,
Michael's pretty good.
Yeah,
Michael's good.
Yeah, he is. But like you see here, we've got like the Ricky Bobby cars. We had both the Wonder Bread one and the Me car.
I love the Me car. I was
You like that one the
I was
most?
a big fan
Yeah.
of that one. Yeah.
See, I like the Wonder Bread car. I won a lot of races with the Wonder Bread car, which was the Lyco car. I didn't win a single race with the Cougar car.
The Cougar car.
Not one.
Really?
And I got a bunch of seconds with it, and a lot of races I should have won and didn't. But the Wonder Bread car, I won a lot of races with that. I won Vegas. I won Vegas with the Scooby-Doo car. That was $100,000. So the original Scooby-Doo car, I really like that one. Man, I've done several different ones, and we've got a lot of ideas in our heads.
Yeah.
More stuff to do.
So I feel like we've probably said this on different episodes as much too. Not to be clear what I say here, because I feel like you are probably, when it comes to getting the fan reaction, I feel like you are probably on that, without a doubt, that next Scott Bloomquist level of fan reaction. You have definitely got a fan base there, and you've got the fan base that are haters, but you've got that roar. When they used to announce Scott's name at Eldora, that place went nuts, and it was people that cheering and booing, and people ready to fight over it. And I feel like you are right there, rivaling that. I mean, people are loving and hating, but it's crowd reaction.
Yeah, I think whenever Well, let's see. Let's start back when I was younger and started winning races. A lot of people don't like a young kid winning races, especially since my dad, he was pretty successful, and so it's like, obviously if it wasn't for his dad, which you're right. If it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be where I was.
Right.
But
none of us would be, but
yeah, right. But then as I got older and stuff, and now, I think a lot of people respected the year we had last year. And I don't know, that's fine with me to be someone that gets a little bit of cheers, a little bit of boos. I think racing in every sport needs to have some of that,
I agree.
It's awesome. I think I love to see how much the fans get into it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it feel when you look up and you see a nice crowd and they've got the apparel on? I mean, that's going to be close to the rock star status. People are just like...
I don't really think a whole lot about it. I don't know. I think I've been the race fan growing up. I had all sorts of drivers I love to watch race, and when my dad was building modifieds, I had a lot of those guys I would cheer for, and then we started building late models. Same thing. I was in the stands cheering for all the drivers that raced the Pierce car.
Yeah.
And I kind of know that feeling of wanting to cheer for someone, wanting them to win, and just kind of having that that feeling, I guess. So what I'm saying is, at first I was a fan before I was a race car driver, and
right.
So I'm just a fan of it too. And
so let me ask you this. I feel like this is a topic that I have a lot with different guys too. Let's say you have a night off. You're not racing. Do you still enjoy getting to go and watch a race, or do you even get to go and just watch a race and not being behind the wheel or anything?
Honestly, like a lot of times, say we're out here working, and my dad or the crew guys will be like, "Hey, let's turn blah 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 race on," and I'm like, "Yeah, if you want to watch it, I guess." But if I'm not there, I don't really care about it anymore, honestly, because I don't know, I don't really know why that is.
Yeah, I've got some buddies, and I used to race, and I've got buddies. I'm still a race fan. If I'm not working or if I'm not at the track, there's still times I just want to go sit in the stands and have a few beers and watch the race. I've got some buddies that are diehard against, like, hey, if I'm not driving, I can't go. I don't want to be there.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
How could you not want to be there? I mean, I don't understand that.
I guess if you don't think about it, you don't get FOMO or whatever. But fear of missing out. But no, just. I guess if I'm not there, I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Well, but, also I don't, because I have a life outside of racing.
Sure.
So, if I'm not racing, I try to take that time and
to have you
do other things.
Yeah. What is, and this can go either way, and this has kind of been a good question I like. What's the worst thing you've ever done to somebody on the track, or what's the worst thing you've ever had done to you on the track?
Worst thing I've ever done on the track, probably just been a hothead several times. Probably just
helmet goes on.
From when I was younger, or even not younger. I mean,
you're still learning.
Yeah. I'll be 50 years old still learning for sure. I still don't know anything. I'm 27.
Just depends on who you ask. Right?
Yeah. No, for real. I feel like there's a lot to learn, but no, probably. I don't know. I've raced how many races so far in my career, and a lot of times things just don't happen the way you wanted it to happen.
Or planned it to
happen, so stuff like that. And then just, let's see, probably the same thing in return. I've been, after the checkered, I've been ran over, just stuff like that, like under caution. It's like, come on, man, what are you doing? But that's racing, right? It happens. You see it all the time. And
it happens.
Every now and then you're the victim, and every now and then you're the guy that's like, hey, man, you should.
I didn't appreciate that. Yeah.
But that's racing. It's like Steve Francis would know. As last year, there's a few times I had to just vent to him, after the race, and then the next day I'm like, I was just hot in the moment.
Yeah.
And here we are now. I'm chill again.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty chill guy until you get me fired up.
Push past the limit, then we have a problem. Then we got to talk.
Then it's like, all right, I get fired up. When I do get fired up, I'm pretty hot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Last thing I think that I got to know. You've obviously got a lot of paint schemes. Do you have a favorite paint scheme?
Yeah, favorite paint scheme, the one right now. But
Well, right now, hey, dude, this thing is hot. Dude.
it is, yeah. I
That
like
is
it. And every year I've come up with something different. So I like to change it up every year. I never keep it the same. That's why I've ended up with 30 different die casts, of everything.
Right.
And sorry to all the fans that try to collect every one. I know
my
it's
God,
a lot.
now they got to spend more money.
Yeah, I really did like the Polar Express car at the Dome. That one looked really good.
Yeah.
I've had lots that look really good. My favorite is probably the Mystery Machine because it's so bright and it pops.
Yeah,
and I really do like the bright colors like that. It's just a lot of times it's hard to make them actually look good.
Yeah.
It might look good up close and then from the distance it doesn't, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But that one was just badass. I like that a lot. And a lot of them. I love all my wraps. This one here was my first. This was my crate late model. A lot of people know that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And this was my rookie car here. A lot of people know that's worth a lot of money.
Really?
My rookie super late model.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. You know what? Another question did pop in my mind. Other than your dad, let's take dad out of the equation. Growing up, who was your favorite driver?
My favorite driver growing up was, let's see, we're going way back. So let's do modified drivers were Denny Schwartz, Jeff Lika, Chad Kender.
Yeah.
Man, there's several I know that I'm leaving out that anyone that really drove a Pierce car is who I cheered for. And then in late models, like Jason Fager was one of the first really good regional to almost national drivers that had a Pierce car. And he started winning some races. And I think at the time, I was just getting out of quarter midgets and I was like getting into kid mods. And then, heck, as I got older, started racing against him. And then, we became competitors and everything. And yeah, we were talking about New Zealand earlier. We went to New Zealand, or we were there at the same time together this year. But a lot of guys like that, a lot of, regional idols and, dirt track heroes growing up that I used to watch. And I remember being a little kid watching late models go around there and like Farmer City. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Like my dad'd be like, you gonna do that someday? And it's like, shit, I don't know.
Oops.
I'm just a kid.
Yeah, right.
And then as I got older, here we are.
Here we are. Very good. Bobby, man, I'll tell you what, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's been, we're a little over 30-something minutes. It's been pretty good. A lot of content there. I appreciate that. I feel like I knew Bobby Pierce a little bit more than I did before. I hope the fans do too. Great episode. I'm happy with it. Anything else you need to... Who do you need to thank before we wrap things up?
Definitely. Thank you. Got to thank all these wonderful sponsors on this car. Low Voltage Solutions, Hoker Trucking, Mesquite Valley Transportation, Rio Grande Waste Services. Shout out to Larry. Toyota of Danville, A+ Vacuum, Leak Tree Services, Carnegie Towing, Ted Brown, Collins Brothers Towing, which is a new sponsor, Fast One Speed Shop, just everyone that helps me out, all the fans. Getting ready for another great year. Hopefully we can win some more championships this year. And
there you go.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, man. Tell you what, thanks a lot again. Appreciate the time. Again, this has been a great episode. I hope you guys all like it as much as I did. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on YouTube and Facebook, all that great stuff. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Message Bobby if you need him also. And we'll see you at the track next week. Thanks.
Cool.
Perfect. I'll get a Sharpie. I definitely got to get an autograph on the...